You guys want to open your books to page 240. Today we're going to be looking at the quadratic formula. And we've already looked at a couple of different ways to solve a quadratic trinomial of this form. So who can name, okay, I know at least 3 different ways that you guys know how to solve something like this. What are 3 ways that you guys have learned so far? You can factor it. What's another way you can solve it? Close. We can graph it. That's factoring. Just say factoring. We have a perfect square trinomial. That is another way. What's another way? We learned just a couple days ago. You can complete the square. So there's many different ways to solve these. Today we're going to look at the quadratic formula way of solving it. And the quadratic formula is really nice because it doesn't matter what your equation looks like, you can always use it. So if you look at the top of page 241, the key concept. To solve the quadratic equation, ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0, use the quadratic formula. We have x is equal to negative b plus or minus the square root b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. So when you're solving this, you're going to figure out what your a term is, your b term, and your c term, and then plug them in into the appropriate places. And they'll give us our x. And since this is plus or minus, it should give us 2 x's. So if you look at problem 1, I want to know what are the solutions using the quadratic formula. So we have 2x squared minus x is equal to 4. So the first thing that we have to do in solving quadratic formula is always get it into standard form. Standard form is having our equation set equal to 0, so all our terms on one side, and then also having it so it's x squared, x, and then the number. So this is standard form right here. So to do that, the first thing we're going to need to do is subtract 4 from both sides. We get 2x squared minus x minus 4 is equal to 0. So now that it's in standard form, we can find our a term, our b term, and our c term. Our a term corresponds to this is going to be 2. Our b term, remember there's an imaginary 1 right here. It's going to be negative 1. There's a minus in front of it, that means that number is going to be a negative number. Then our c term is going to be negative 4. So now that we have our a, b, and c term, we can plug it into this formula to solve for x. If we do that, we get x is equal to negative, and then our b term, our b is negative 1. I'm going to use parentheses since it's negative, plus or minus in the square root of b squared. So here's b, and b is negative 1, so it's going to be negative 1 squared, minus the number 4 times my a term, 2 times c, negative 4. It's going to be all over number 2 times my a term. My a term is 2, so 2 times 2. Okay, that's it. Now we just need to simplify this. We're going to clean it up. So to do that, I'm going to get the I'm going to move it over here. I'm going to get x is equal to negative and negative, make a positive 1. So 1 plus or minus the square root of negative 1 squared is going to be 1 minus 4 times 2 is 8. 8 times negative 4 is negative 32. All over 2 times 2 is 4. We still have to simplify some more. Let's see here. 1 minus a negative 32, so I'm going to get 1 plus 32. I'm going to get 1 plus or minus square root of 33 all over 4. And I'm pretty much done. I can't simplify anymore. This is simplified as much as it can go. If I typed it into my calculator, I would get some decimal point. I do not want you guys to type it into your calculator. I do not want a decimal point. Reduce it as much as you can. If this radical can be simplified, you have to simplify it. This one can't because there's no perfect square that goes into 33. So we just leave it like that. Our two x's are going to be x is equal to 1 plus square root of 33 over 4. And the other x can be 1 minus the square root of 33 all over 4. Any questions on this? Okay, let's do another example.